Evening all, welcome back to our module mining little wonderful little thing. I don't even know what this is. We're going to have to nickname it something. I don't know, the utility vehicle, the bee, the bug, the wasp, I don't know, something like that. But to be honest, it's wonderful. I'm loving it. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to build the tools that fit onto it. Now, to be honest, it's pretty simple. All it is in this case probably a medium can. I think medium can may be overkill, so use your own judgment on that one. I think, to be honest, medium is probably a bit big for my intents and purposes. But there we go, medium can, and then in this case we're going to fit a grinder and a welder to this. So we're going to have on different modules. So that's really the purpose. You'll have a module for each. Hopefully that's clear. So you know, the idea being obviously that you pick up the tool, you then do the grinding that you need to do, and then you bugger off back to your base, and then you're good, you're done, and that's it. That's all you need to do. And I think this is exactly the kind of tool set that I've needed for quite some time now. I think on the side of this we'll put a hopper maybe. I mean, again, I don't know, the hopper, I'm debating the use of the hopper. I've never really got them working yet, so we may drop that, but we'll put an ejector as well. So the idea being is that can have stuff fed into it, and it can have stuff fed out of it, which makes a lot of sense. Now, in the latest patch, they've actually made the conveyor system properly lockable, so you dock to the conveyor and ejector systems. I don't know if that makes sense, but it actually means you can control the ships directly through this medium, which is an incredibly good thing. I'm quite impressed with it. Just realized we got that entirely wrong, so we need to re-look at that. The cans I think are a bit tricky. Medium cans are only for small vehicles, so not totally familiar with them, but I guess they have a small port on the sides and then have the large port going in for the grinders and the welders on the front. So that kind of makes sense, but I guess you need to look at that. The whole conveyor system to me is there's a lot of stuff there, and I end up just using the pipes and the bends and the conveyors, so I don't really know what the others do. I actually don't know what people do with them. For me, I just generally use them for basic stuff. Now we're going to try the hopper. Now I'm not confident on the hopper. I don't really see the purpose of the hopper or the collector or whatever you want to call it. I think it's not right. There's something not quite right about it. So post in the comments if you use them. I've got to admit I don't see the purpose of them at all. Anyway, there we go. So that's our first module complete. Now what we need to do is actually connect it back to the crane. Now you could do this if I was being a bit more, I guess, proper. I could do this, or I could just fly it into the bloody thing. Now that this is complete, I don't necessarily even need to connect it to the crane. So that's a nice little feature as well. And again, what we need to do is put a little foot on it as well, so we've got to bear that in mind. So that actually would be what the tool effectively docks to, if that makes sense. You'll see what I mean once we get this rolling. But yeah, that's it. So I wasn't too sure how to do this, and it shows generally my general level of cowardice as well here, because I wasn't too sure if I could fly into the system, then switch it on, or should I just switch it on and stay in the thing. To be honest, I was a coward here, and I should have just gone for it, and I got completely lost there. I don't know what I was doing. Oh yeah, that's right, I switched on spectator mode and I got completely confused. But what we wanted to do was really just use the welding system, I guess. Also, once you've got these ships up, you could just tow a ship in, if that makes sense. So you can just do that basically, and that way you've actually got the benefit of the above and below. Now, to be honest, I'm being way overcautious here. I should have just switched it on, flown it in, and then used the spectator cam while sat inside, because it doesn't damage me when you're inside, and if I get out it will kill me. But to be honest, that's just me being, I guess, cautious. Here we go. Let's switch on the factory stuff. There we go, the welders on. And then we see this thing being built. Lovely jubbly, look at that. I love it. This stuff is so cool. This game is awesome. Seriously, I would love a 360, well, not 360. I'd love a kind of, 5-sided room where you could just build these things. That would be awesome. Like a spray booth. Just drive it in, it builds it entirely for you. So there we go, that's a success. I've got to switch it off to go get it though. That kind of sucks, but that just shows you that I was a bit of a coward, and I shouldn't have bothered with that anyway. I should have just flown it in, but there we go. So that's looking pretty awesome. Now I think, oh yeah, okay, well the hopper's not fully complete, but the relatively convenient point of this is that it does actually put all the materials in there, although it didn't in that case. That's interesting. But on the hopper, it's probably put all of the materials in there. And, you know, it just means I've got to sit and weld it, which is, yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to kill me. To be honest, if I'd have rotated it and sat in the vehicle while it was doing it, I would have seen that it wasn't done, and I would have probably been able to do it myself. There we go. Actually, it didn't fill it with bits, so that was my bad as well. Anyway, there we go. Can't have everything. To be honest, this is quite, you know, for me, this is quite a revelation, because to be honest, there's always been a bit of a negativity behind the small vehicles. I find them very I find them a bit kind of painstaking to build and very easy to lose. So I built a really nice kind of missile attack fighter, and I went to go and take on a commercial shipping thing, and the missile turret one-shot me. It just blapped me into to non-existence. And I was like, that took me about half an hour to build, and it's been destroyed in one shot. So I was a bit gutted about that. To be honest, I think there's not a lot you can do about that kind of stuff, but it's not the end of the world. So as I'm doing this, I realized I hadn't actually finished the build of my little buggy. I had forgot to put one dimension of thrusters on it, so that was a bit stupid of me, but hey, what can you do? I do play with thruster damage off, so yeah, I probably will switch that back on at some point. It's just right now, I can't be bothered with it. In fact, there's no real reason. There's no ship other than this one now that actually would be damaged by it. I think it's just the point of, do you know what? I'm kind of sick of coming into land on a hangar deck and watching it get smashed to pieces. I just don't want to do that. So for me, that's kind of my trade-off with this whole thing. So we go last few things, and then this little buggy is pretty much done, and we can get on to moving, I guess, building the grinder, or the welder in this case. And that's a really, you know, cool kind of modular thing to do as well. So I think really, you know, give this some consideration, because the amount of, I guess, time saved by having this kind of automation is good. I think also having little ships like this that you can use as tugs and little JCBs with merge blocks on is incredibly useful. I really do mean that. And there we go, look, so this thing's now on the front. As you can see, it's looking pretty sweet. And all we need to do is then dock it at the front. So we go press P. We're now docked. Now all we need to do is unselect the merge block. So we switch the merge block off, as you see there. And then we press P again, and then we can reverse away. And that is it. That is our tool is now continually locked to the base. And actually we have the ability to make braking force on it now. So we could just merge with it and push it away as well. So really nice additions all around. So here we go, we lock again, so we just then take off a tiny bit. And let's have a go at building the second part of this, which is the I guess the welder in this case. Same premise, it's going to be the same tool set, there's no different. It's just going to be a merge block, and then we just build a can upon that, an ejector, or a hopper, or a collector, I guess, and then the welder, and that's it. And that's a really nice kind of, I guess, simple way to do it. You could do the same with weapons as well. So you could even have like chain guns, you could have missiles, etc. So, you know, definitely worth a consideration there. It's pretty awesome, I've got to admit. I love this kind of way you build in this game. To be honest, I think we're going to have to start thinking of new projects now, because this one is a success. I've got to admit, this is it. This is done. The crane is something we'll look at in another video, I think. We'll come back to that, because the crane in that form is incredibly simple, and we've got to have some form of height in it as well. At the moment, it's just literally left and right. But having that ability to go left, right, up, down would be pretty awesome. So we'll look into that. But again, you can make it quite complex, or you can kind of make it quite simple, really. It's entirely up to you how you want to do these things. I've got to admit, for me, I think it's got to be functional, and I think currently it certainly does the job. But to be honest, you know, once you've got the biggest thing that maybe I didn't show was the building of those networks of welders. Welders are incredibly large, ship welders are incredibly easy to build. And they're incredibly useful, so, you know, definitely worth building just a bed of them. And that way, when you've got a ship that's damaged, you can just fly it in and just hover it above the welder and then just rotate, and it will then fix the entire ship. So absolutely brilliant stuff. Fix it to your conveyor belt as well, because you do want to get that automation building going. So here we go. This time around, we're going to do it properly. We're just going to put the welders on, and we're just going to fly in, and we're going to see how it goes. And this is going to be the second tool. So, oh, it's lovely. Now, to be honest, doing it this way is also incredibly good as well. So you don't really even need the crane. Once you've got a small ship with a docking clamp built to it, and it's more of a utility thing, you can just use this medium to go with. But to be honest, there was something nice in building a crane. I like the idea of a crane as well. I think a crane would be a good thing to build as well. I think we'll have a look at it, because I think we're going to put a lot more effort into that crane over time. But there we go. This is it. So let's go into our spectator mode, and let's go back, and let's just start to build this. Now, again, beautifully, this is the look at that. And I'm not taking any damage. It's, you know, it's just wonderful. And all I'm doing is rotating, and everything's being built. And there we go. Simple as that. It is absolutely gorgeous. Building stuff using the welding tools and the welding torch is very enjoyable, but doing it this way is better, because you don't have to worry and you know, stress about anything at all. It just builds it. Now also, it will build it to 100% as well. I know when I built stuff, I didn't build it to 100%. I built it so that it worked, and then that was it. And that actually always usually ended up with something not quite fit for purpose. But in this case, I know that this ship is 100% done. And there we go. Let's take it for a bit of a spin, bit of a joyride into Jupiter's orbit. And that's it. And then, you know, we could have a whole range of these, a whole, you know, collection of different tools, different weapons, etc. And that's, you know, I liked that idea. When I saw that video on the update for Space Engineers, I was blown away by how cool that idea of modular tools were. So that's why, you know, when I built this, I thought, well, that's it. That's what I'm going to build. So again, we just dock, we just park our little block, and then we unhook ourselves, and then retreat, and there we go. Oh, this is so good. It is really, really good. And then we just switch our merge block back on, and then we're up and running. And we can then just dock into the merge, you know, into the tool as we need to. So, you know, just to show that working, let me show you that. It just literally goes in, and then, you know, you could just dock by the side of it, and then, you know, you're up and running. It is good. I've got to admit, I love it. I love it so much. I think